So the market's been brutal and the pullback severe. This creates a situation for those amazing low prices we always say we want. But notice, it is often hardest to make entries at these levels when we are new in crypto. In fact, those that are very new in crypto, most aren't even watching this show today because they are placing some emotional distance between themselves and the crypto market. This is exactly why everyone says they want to buy low, but only the exceptional do. Today we're going to get into the top 3 Solana gems at basement prices. We're also going to talk about some other Solana gems that are riskier plays that I absolutely love. And we have special guests from Kitsumon joining us again to reveal some of the designs behind their artwork for the NFTs and the game. I also at the end want to spend some time fielding your questions. The market is way down and I want to hear your top calls for basement level price deals and why you think they're good. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host Jay Rain, and if you like money and crypto and you're looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. You can do that as simply as liking this video and subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled. Special note, you know this, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, sharing with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos I like. For myself, crypto has taken my portfolio from thousands to millions, and I share with you the Rainmaker system I created that leads to amazing results. Note, I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I simply don't talk about cryptos I don't believe in. We also want to thank our Patreon members that joined us in the Patreon pre-stream that we do on Fridays. We have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to. There's a link below to our Patreon if it's interesting to you. Because it's a closed group and not public, there is even more I'm able to discuss that I can't discuss in other settings. When you join us there, you'll find out more about what I'm talking about, but I do release a ton of alpha on this show on a weekly basis. Now, it says on the beginning of our streams that this is sponsored content. That is specifically because of our strategic relationships with Wanchain and Kitsumon, who have been good to us and have given us goodies to give away to the audience. Specifically, Wanchain 500 won every month, and Kitsumon is going to be loading us with NFTs in the coming weeks to do some giveaways with that, and we're really excited for that. So join us, strap in for the show. Let's welcome our producer, D Money, joining me in the Crypto Rain Command Center.
Hey, what up, Jay? How's it going today?
Fantastic. It's Friday.
It is Friday, and I'm rocking my Chiefs hoodie. We'll see what happens this weekend. But yeah, I'm excited to hear from Kitsumon. Just getting a little taste of what they were all about last week, and then excited to hear about what their announcement is that they're going to share. It's exclusive right here on the show today, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, I was around in 2017, 2018 when Crypto Kitties went crazy, and like Crypto Kitties were breedable, but nothing apart from that. So it'll be a lot of fun with what they're designing with these 3D, essentially kind of Crypto Kitties or Kitsu that are going to be like playable in their game, as well as be able to take on the different aspects from the different things when you breed them. So that's going to be a lot of fun. They're going to share us some specific alpha that they're releasing today with our audience.
Yeah, super cool stuff. Let's not delay any longer. We'll start the party
started,
and then we'll get those guys on.
Join me, Rainmakers. All right. First up, we're going to bring you our guests, James and Sanjay from Kitsumon, and they're going to share with us some of what's going on with Kitsumon, and they're going to share their screen and share with us some awesome stuff. So welcome, guys. Let's see, Dee's going to bring you on. Let me make sure they can hear you. Cool.
Very good. Hey, nice to be back.
Yeah, good to have you on. James joined us last week on Wednesday. And Sanjay, this is the first time. Camera obviously not enabled, but you have a really cool graphic there.
Yeah, this is called the Vampsu Kitsu. First time, so I'll just introduce myself a bit. So I'm the principal engineer at Kitsumon, and I handle all things techie. James kind of handles all things techie too, but I get into more of the tech. And yeah, just excited today to be explaining some of the artwork and processes about Kitsumon to your viewers.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Real quick, Kitsumon is a game, if you think kind of like Pokemon and CryptoKitties, and I forget what other third project, maybe, gosh, like some kind of MMO game. If you bred all three of those and made a baby, that would be Kitsumon. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, definitely. I think Dota is a kind of a game style, but yeah, if you mix all them Dota, Pokemon, and CryptoKitties all together, that would be Kitsumon, definitely.
Awesome. Really excited for the artwork that you're going to share with us today. We showed a little bit, and like all 20 of your Genesis eggs that are being released over the coming, through different launch pads over the next few weeks, and it's already started. Specifically, a lot of our audience members have Gate.io accounts because if they use our link, they're able to get 20% of their own trades back. And you're coming to Gate.io, I think, in February. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for because I'm going to buy a bunch, personally.
Nice.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
All right. So now I'm looking forward to the artwork. So go ahead. You should be able to share your screen. Let me know if you have a problem. If so, I set up the meeting. So is it letting you share your screen?
It says host disabled, participant from sharing screen.
Shoot. Let me figure out.
The classic Zoom blunder.
What do I do? Let's see if technical. How do I allow you to share your screen? Do you know how?
Yeah, you should. Where is the meeting? It's down here. Screen share. You gotta hit the little thing.
Yes, there we go. Perfect.
Well, actually, I don't. Let's go.
Sweet. I can do it. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
All right.
Can you guys see my screen?
It is loading. There we go.
Perfect. So yeah, let me explain more of this. So this is the actual NFT card. This is what people are going to be getting in the INO. From the boxes, a user that opens a box would get 20 different Kitsu eggs. James can explain a bit more about this, I guess, with the INO aspect of things.
Yeah, sure. So, like as Sanjay said, there's the INO mystery box sales, and when the claim day, which is the 10th of February, users will be able to go to the Kitsumon website and they will be able to claim their NFT. And there's a special BRF process that we use Chainlink for. To randomly select one of the eggs from the pool and give them to the users. So it's all provably fair. Like I said, maybe like last week, it's not a case that the team or insiders scoop up all the best ones.
Yeah.
We'll be able to prove on chain, but it's been a completely fair distribution. But yeah, that's the process about how to actually claim these redemption cards.
Sweet. And now behind this, the eggs are going to be hatched. You may ask what they're going to be hatched into. Well, it's quite evident. They're going to be hatched into Kitsus. But the design work that goes behind these Kitsus, there is a load of design work. So without further ado, I will show you a few of the concept art for one of the Kitsus. So when the egg is opened, they're essentially getting a Pharaoh Kitsu, but then this concept art was made before the actual 3D models were made. So it's kind of the work put in before the 3D models are made. So we get our design team to actually draw out the Kitsu, conceptualize it. We've gone through so many designs, like so many, scrapped them, made new ones, and so forth. So yeah, this is a Pharaoh Kitsu, and this is obviously a 2D drawing version. And then after the 2D drawing version, it turns into this. So our designers do some beautiful magic and they color it in and it becomes colored, but we're still not there yet. So one step before making it an actual 3D model, we've got something called the orthos. Now this is what our game studio does. So our game studio actually takes our 2D concepts and designs a 360-degree 2D view of the Kitsu. This is, again, I said this is one step before the models. So then a step after this is we're designing something called the low detail model, which is one step before the fully textured model. And then we get the whole shebang, which is the actual Kitsu in full 3D. Yeah, and so how we've actually made this Kitsu is we've separated it into body parts, because obviously we know about crypto kitties and breeding, and then it changing all of the outcome of the images that it produces. So we want to do something similar, but we want to do something unique. As you know, crypto kitties is 2D, and we're going to try and produce 3D generative art. So if I dissect this Kitsu, you guys would have a better understanding of what body parts there are and what body parts can change. So look, we've got the eyes here. And I think there's a total of 8 body parts, which makes about 20 to the power of 8 unique Kitsus that someone can breed. So there is a huge possibility for the different amounts of Kitsus that someone can breed.
And they'll come with different attributes, right? If you end up getting parts from certain things, like they'll come with different attributes, so that you'll have breeders that specialize, and there'll be some RNG involved, so they'll breed coupled together trying to make the perfect, say, glass cannon, and then they'll try to make the perfect tank with the right parts, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So each one of the body parts that Sanjay just dissected there, they have different abilities, whether they're attack, healing, or defense abilities. And each one has a pool of abilities in that DNA space. And then when you're breeding, as you say, it'll be randomly selected from that pool, the abilities. So you might end up with a Kitsu that looks good but might not have the abilities that you want. So again, the game is to keep on breeding, and like you say, trying to get the Kitsu that you either desire to look at, or one that has the traits and abilities that you want for MOBA battle, and in an ideal world both, I would suppose.
So question, what inputs does it take to breed? Obviously you'll need 2 Kitsu. And do they have to be Genesis Kitsus in order to breed, or can they breed secondary ones as well?
You can breed both. So initially, I guess not initially. The first Kitsus to breed, or the first ever breeding of a Kitsu, will result in 2 Gen Zeros. After that, you can breed the Gen Zeros with the hybrids if you wanted to. So again, since the Gen Zeros have the higher abilities, or the more concentrated abilities in that form, back breeding hybrids into a Gen Zero Kitsu will improve your chances of getting the more desirable traits. And that's why we envision that a lot of these Gen Zero Kitsus that people are buying in this stage are going to be worth quite a lot, because people can go to them and try and get the traits out of that DNA. Whereas if you're trying to breed lots of hybrids together to get the traits that you want, maybe the special DNA traits that you're after have already been spread out and mixed out across the population of hybrids.
Makes sense. It's exciting what you guys are doing with this, and I think the audience gets a chance to see why I was excited about Kitsumon, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that most people aren't aware of yet. So you're getting this top alpha here. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Anything else you want to share?
The only thing to really mention today is the swappable INO, which is ongoing at the moment, and it's a fair launch, so you can go to the swappable website and buy Kitsus. And then next week we've got the Zero Expo Gate.io sales coming up. And yeah, I mean, that's all the announcements today, I think.
Hey Jay, can I ask a question from the audience?
D has a question.
Yeah, crypto fan. He asked, how big is the Kitsumon game developers team?
Well, depends on the actual game development side. We have me and Sanjay, and we have 4 other developers on the back end, which is API and smart contracts. But we actually work with an external party, Ada, and another game studio to do a lot of the actual modeling and game development. So our team, around 8 people on the dev side, but then there's actually a whole massive 2 companies behind the game development part of it. So a lot of that work gets done in parallel. We can ramp up the production by just adding more people to the external teams quite easily. So yeah, it's quite a big team on the external contracting side.
Yeah, great question from the audience. All right, let me see if any other last questions. You see anything else, D?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few questions. I don't know how much Q&A we want to do exactly.
Let's go ahead and at least get one more question from the audience.
Yeah, let's.
Thank them for
Bearish
tuning
Bull
in.
is our buddy who's with us quite a bit. He says, I'm invested in another project that's like y'all's. I guess I'll refer back to last Wednesday's episode, but if I could, what differentiates y'all from something like Cryptomon, and what chain is this on?
Well, firstly, I don't think any project is like ours. I don't know if the people in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, because I have not seen one project which provides a 3D NFT changing body parts. I've only seen like these NFT projects providing 2D outputs, as in like a different image. I've not really seen 3D body parts, and that's one thing I feel is very unique about Kitsumon. The way that the NFT is actually a 3D model, and when you go on something like OpenSea, you'll be able to see it in 3D instead of seeing it as a 2D image.
Yeah,
That'll be impressive,
the
and that's for the short term,
generative
because
art
then it'll be in the
process,
game
I
and
think,
be
is a very
3D
unique-
later too, right?
Very unique feature.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that, guys.
So that's just even in the short term. You'll have the 3D models for what's tradable on OpenSea, but then of course also in the game there'll be 3D models.
Yeah, exactly. So all the 3D models you breed during the breeding gameplay, you'll be able to actually use in the MOBA battle arena as well. That's where a lot of the work goes in with the game studios and the animators, trying to make all the bone structures interchangeable and fixed and work with all the different kind of variations that can come out of here. So yeah, they'll be used in the MOBA, and I think it'll be quite cool to see what people create out of these.
Awesome. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you for fielding some questions from the audience.
No problem.
Thank you, guys, for having us.
Cool. Yeah, really, really awesome stuff. I think that, I mean, in Bearish Bull, he kind of conceded, yeah, like, he's like, yeah, y'all are the first 3D protocol that I've seen, you know, and he basically said that seems to be correct on that. And yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling to think about that aspect of it, right? Everything, like, I mean, he said what, 20, or was it 8 times, or to the 20th power, 20 to the 8th power, like all the different variations that it could have. I mean, it's really mind-boggling, and that they'll all be 3D. You know, lots of possibilities. I think it's going to be a really, really cool thing.
It's a lot of fun. Axie Infinity had a lot of success with their being able to breed and interbreed to create specific tanks and other things, and it can increase the value, like the tanks or the specific like glass cannons, like your bird axes or your beast axes that have specific focus. Can go for a lot, especially if it hits all the traits just right, as well as the Genesis axes. What do they call them? They have origin axes, and they go for a ton, even though most of those are terrible fighters. Just the fact that they're origin axes, and for no other reason than their origin axes, they go for a ton. I think they start at like 3 ETH last I checked, and some of them that got some mystic abilities go for in the millions. All right, other NFT alerts. I want to make you aware of a drop coming this Tuesday right here. Cornucopias is doing their Bubble Jet sale. Now, Cornucopias is the first AAA game, at least that I'm aware of, on Cardano. I can't wave a magic wand and see into the future to know that these will do really well. I strongly suspect these will do very well. So check out Cornucopias. I will be buying some of these myself. Secondly, later today, NFL is doing some essentially NBA, the makers of NBA Top Shots, Dapper Labs, is releasing some NFL moments today. Again, I can't see into the future and promise that these will do well. I was an early investor in NBA Top Shots because it made sense that collectible digital card moments with like videos of some of these top moments would do really well. I invested about $1,100. That in March turned into about $180,000 and has since corrected to about $40,000. But still, that's still almost a 40x return, even at the lows after hitting such highs. Now, who knows how this will do? Back when NBA Top Shots released, there wasn't a lot of fanfare, a lot of people looking for it. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this NFL drop. So hopefully, with some patience, you'll be able to get some packs. And that is coming in just a couple hours. So stay tuned for that. If you don't have a Dapper Labs account, I don't know. Like, I have one all the way back from NBA Top Shots days, and they did do an MMA release, and they'll be doing another MMA, I think specifically UFC release on Monday. So these are just some NFT collectibles that I would pay attention to, or at least do your research, see if you're interested.
Hey, Jay, before we move on from that, so the waiting room opens in like 40 minutes, basically, from what I understand. And so that's at 12 Pacific, something like that. And then it's a full hour until the actual drop. So, I mean, this is something like when you think about the NFL versus the NBA Top Shots, the NFL does about double the amount of revenue as the NBA. NFL, you know, the common thing that people say is that the NFL is king when it comes to sports, professional sports, at least in the United States. And so we had some crazy, I know that, there might not be like a ton of like enormous sports fans. I know Chris Ashby just said that he's going to be participating in the NFL drop. I know he's an NFL fan. For those who are NFL fans, like last weekend was an enormous, every game was bananas. They all finished crazy, and you're going to be able to get some moments, hopefully, from this weekend. And so it seems like a great opportunity, right? Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen, if it'll do what NBA Top Shots do, and I'll get off my little NFL soapbox and let you move on now.
He obviously is passionate about the NFL, and he watches professional sports way more than I do. I almost never watch them. But do I collect them on first series? Absolutely. So will I be participating? Yeah, if I can get some. I just have the same chances as everyone else. So hopefully I can get some. All right, on to our top story today, which is top Solana gems. So do you remember a few months back when Solana was talked about endlessly on about every YouTube channel out there? It was passing up everything but Bitcoin and ETH on CoinMarketCap. So what happened? Now, nothing runs straight up forever, but isn't it true, as humans, we felt the most buy pressure back then when Solana was $250. And we feel way less buy pressure now that Solana has retraced all the way to $92. As much as we like in theory to talk about buying bottoms, this is why so few people do. Isn't it strange how our emotions pressure us to buy at $250 and then pressure us to stay away at $92? Now, part of becoming wealthy from crypto has to do with learning to think and also act like an investor, not an average person that came into crypto and takes no time to learn about these things. You see, our emotions fail us when it comes to investments. That doesn't mean turn them off. I listen to my emotions when it comes to trading. I just usually don't do what they're telling me to do, is I'm continuing forever to rewire my brain so that I FOMO in at the bottoms and panic sell at the tops. This is where the statement comes from that I made starting like a year ago: buy when it's boring. That means when the crypto market gets boring and tons of people are tuning out, that is when the prices are the very best. When the price action is bottoming and the price action is very boring, that's when the buys are often their very best. So is Solana a great buy right now? Well, I can't tell you what to do, but I am liking what I'm seeing. Also, there are 3 gems that are heavily on sale that might be worth some consideration, and we'll go into them. One of them, I really like where the price is. The other 2, I'm liking where the price is going, though I'm not certain that they bottomed yet. We'll also take a look at some of our extra risky, extra potentially huge gainers when the market turns. So let me start off by sharing with you what's going on with Bitcoin. And we see Bitcoin on this descending trend right here, right? Now, there's some longer term support at these levels, specifically right around here, some broader support, and then again down here, right at the bottom. Now, it could come all the way down here and bounce off. It could come all the way down here and break through. We really don't know how exactly this is going to play out. Likely it's going to bounce off and go up, but some people could push it down and then it could break to some new lows. And if it breaks through here, then it's probably going to go all the way down to this 24,000 level. I like to share this just so you're prepared. So if it happens, it doesn't scare you. If it does break through these levels and it hits the 24,000, there's going to be a lot of support there. And then it could break all the way through that at 18 to 20,000. And if it does, my guess is that's the bottom. Now, probably in likelihood, we're not even going to get there. But it's always good to know what the options are and what could happen so it doesn't shake you out. All right, as to the 3 gems I want to share today, there's a specific reason why I want to share them today, and that has everything to do with this article. Where did I put it? Not that one. Yes. All right. So I don't even know that this is the article I'm looking for. I've got so many up here. Specifically, Coinbase is close to listing Solana ecosystem tokens, and specifically 3 of them that we're going to talk about today. But then possibly many, many more. So this is a big deal. In order for them, they currently do have Solana listed, but they don't have anything on the Solana chain except for Solana, and that's about to change. And so we want to talk about these 3, I would call them blue chips in the Solana ecosystem today, as well as some of the riskier ones that I'm a fan of. So let's start with Solana's price and where that's at. I mean, look at this massive retracement, and it's really close to the 78.6 level. Now, funny enough, our emotions tell us this is a great buy because we see nothing but green. And here they're like, stay away, there's nothing but red. So at these levels, it's much more exciting than up here. Now, could it come down lower? Yes, and it might. In fact, it's not even hitting a very solid resistance level right now. It bounced off of the top of this here, and it could come down and touch that again, and it could break through and have some more retracement. This is why when I'm looking at something that I'm interested in, I dollar cost average in, and I take some of these. Now, so far we haven't seen a very broad rounded bottom, which is typical on recoveries, but not always the case. Look at this when it was going up, and then look how quickly that turned around, started going up, how quickly that turned around, and then off to the races. So sometimes we get a broader rounded bottom like these broader rounded bottoms. Sometimes it's pretty steep. Probably if Coinbase lists all of a sudden these 3, that could be enough pressure that, fuels Solana doing well again. We're going to share some articles specific to that. This is specifically the one I wanted. These are the specific ones likely to be listed on Coinbase very soon. 3 Solana-based cryptos set to soar from Coinbase listing. Specifically, Audius, Star Atlas, and Serum. Now, we've talked about Star Atlas, we've talked about Serum a little bit. Let me share with you what these charts are looking like, because the chart is everything. Now, Audius is a competitor to, it's like, essentially, you can put some of your NFTs for sale, and actually it got linked to, what is it that will push them out? I think.
Are you talking about TikTok, the partnership that they
did,
the
partnership with TikTok, which really helped this take off, right? They announced a partnership with TikTok, and it went crazy all the way to $4. And do watch for this when big partnerships like that happen. I remember in the crypto winter, Engine announced a partnership with Sony to be listed on their phones and stuff, and it went crazy. And then, it had a huge parabolic move like this, and then it came way, way back down, almost to where it was before. So when you see these huge partnerships, these huge partnerships still take a while to implement. So what happens is, the FOMO happens, all these people FOMO in, and then it starts retracing, these people panic sell out, and it has a big retracement, but it hasn't retraced to the pre-levels like back in the January 2021 levels, but it has retraced all the way to these previous lows at around this 80-cent mark. And so this one, I'm really liking where the price is, and their story makes sense. And music and NFTs seem to go hand in hand. There are a lot fighting for this space, but Audius has a head start and some big partnerships that could make them one of the few big winners that come out of this. So I like this play, and I like the price, and so I wanted to bring you this one first. because personally, I like where this is at. Doesn't mean it won't get cheaper. It may. Personally, I'm comfortable with where it's at. So this is just not financial advice to you. This is, hey, take a look at this. Do your own research on it. See if it's something you like too. Another one to look at where I do really, really like the price. I'm a little bit concerned because it broke through this previous low level and now is all the way down at 212. But keep in mind, this one was up as high as, what is that, 12 something, 1252. So it's on a massive sale. I do like that this was a higher high than here, but then we're getting a lower low. Now, it might just be temporarily lower and might push up back up above this. Who knows? But, you know, I like to buy at low prices, and to me, these prices are pretty low. Now, Serum is one of the largest DEXs on the Solana ecosystem. Another one I like is Radium. Serum is being integrated into Star Atlas, so that Star Atlas, when you trade on the game, you're actually trading right on the Serum DEX. And there have been other partnerships with Serum that way. So Serum is making the right partnerships that I see that it will probably be around. Now, as to the specific token utility on Serum, I have no idea. Is it good? Is it bad? No. And what's interesting about crypto is that it should always matter what the specific token use case is. And in the long term, it usually really does matter. When I say long term, like 4 to 8 or 10 years. But in the short term, often it doesn't matter. Just as something gets a lot of news, their token takes off, whether or not their token has a solid use case or not. So I can't tell you what Serum's token use case is, but that doesn't mean I don't think it'll do well from here, and that you're buying pretty near the lows here. Another one I want to share, well, this is their website here, Project Serum, and I was just exploring it some more before the show. Star Atlas. Now, Star Atlas has two tokens. They have their Atlas token, and then they have their Pulse token, which is their DAO token. So both of these, we're going to look at their prices. This one hit almost 25 cents. It is way down at under 5 cents, and so it's retraced 80%. This one I would take a look at because this is their DAO token, and it's way down from just over $14 all the way down to $2.68. And the way I figure out where I'm going to trade if I'm interested is I look at this. Now, what's interesting is how interested FTX is in all the top Solana ecosystems. You'll see most of the top Solana projects make it on FTX really, really early. It's also tradable on Gate.io. If you don't have a Gate.io account, if you use our link below, it'll give you 20% of your trading fees back. So it's a lot better than just going there and signing up directly because you'll get nothing back. If you use our link, you get 20% of your own trading fees back. Makes perfect sense. Gate.io has been nailing it on a lot of the early trading for a lot of these things so that you don't have to trade it on a DEX. You can trade it on a centralized exchange if you want to, or not, you can trade it right on Serum's DEX or Radium's DEX as well. And for that, you know, there's a lot of wallets out there. I use the Phantom wallet for the Solana ecosystem. That's Phantom with a PH. All right, on to some news about Solana that's interesting. There's been a lot of news about it, so the price isn't yet reflecting the news that's coming out. So Solana could become the Visa of the digital asset world, said by Bank of America. Interesting. Bank of America, I find, gives very strong opinions that always seem to be beneficial to them. So I'm curious how invested they are in Solana, because Bank of America, whenever I hear them speak, I know it's in line with what their best interests are every single time. So Solana and other blockchains may snag market share from Ethereum over time, the bank said in a research note. The Solana blockchain could become the Visa of the digital asset ecosystem as it focuses on scalability, low transaction fees, and ease of use, Bank of America told clients in a research note after hosting the Solana Foundation member Lily Liu. Now, Solana has experienced strong adoption since launching in 2020. It's settled over 50 billion transactions. Visa, the global payments giant, processed 164 billion transactions in the year that ended September 30th, and it has more than 11 billion in total value locked and has been used to mint more than 5.7 million non-fungible tokens. interesting data. I am a believer in Solana. Part of the reason I'm a believer in Solana is network effects and the large amount of developers that they have moving over to develop on top of Solana is a big thing, and it matters a lot. So I think Solana, I think Cardano is going to be one of the long big-term winners. I used to think stronger that Polkadot would do better than it is. I'm seeing just some troubles that I'm just worried about, and maybe everything's fine, but their team is definitely a lot less communicative than I would like. And Dot will, in its ecosystem, will probably have its day in the sun. It hasn't for a while. But what I want to see to know that it's going the right direction is tons of developers moving over onto the Polkadot ecosystem. Now, there was a lot, and specifically a whole lot in China before the China crackdown, and so that kind of nixed some of the Chinese firm developments of it. Now, why am I so positive that we still have another leg of the bull run? I shared this last live stream. I'll share it again. This is really what drives it, and this is the stock-to-flow model for Bitcoin. And if you could go back in history and buy anytime it's below this green line, which is where the true value likely is based on the stock-to-flow model, would you do it? And also, if you bought there or you bought altcoins during that time, like usually Bitcoin then takes off and then the altcoins follow. So Bitcoin has some huge gains, but then the altcoins usually during that time have bigger gains. And the reason I'm so convinced that we're still going to cross this is ever since it reached this peak, we haven't yet crossed it. We haven't yet had our blow off top. In fact, we had a blow off top kind of in February, March, and April, and a big correction since then. So I think it's still gathering a lot of steam, and the move from here is going to be quite big. Now, before I get into the riskier altcoin gems, hopefully on Wednesday night we did a special live stream that we're going to keep doing, specifically on OMI and the VV universe. Why? Well, number one, I'm super passionate about the VV collectibles and how well they've done with their app. But more importantly, I think OMI's token is value priced. Let me share with you these charts. So looking back at Akomi, now you might not be able to see this super well, but this was the crypto winter. And because it gained so much from what the crypto winter was, like you can't even hardly see these values. But it kind of trended down and then up and then down, and nobody was paying attention to Akomi because they were quietly building one of the best NFT apps out there. And I feel like they nailed it. And since then...
Hey, Jay, you just switched to Alchemix somehow.
That's how that happened. I was like, why did that... Whoa, okay. That is not what I want. Let me go back to OMI. They hit 1.4 cents, and so I started covering them a lot here, and my thought during early this year was that their collectibles were a lot better priced than their token, having come off this like 250x gain, right? So whenever that happens, you do a retracement. I didn't know how low it would retrace, so I started dollar cost averaging in at 0.75 cents and all the way to the bottom and then some of the way up here. And I loaded my bags full of OMI. But still, even from these bottoms where it was, 0.14 cents, it's still only like today, what is it, about 0.75 cents. I still think it's value priced, and even with the whole market pushing down, it's pushing up here. And part of the reason it's pushing up is the token is due its run. The collectibles, many of the collectibles have seen 100x gains recently. So if you haven't checked this out, check out Akomi, see if you're interested. You can trade this again on gate.io. There's some other markets that you can trade it on. Bit4x and BitMax. And so those are the different markets. Now, part of the reason I'm bullish on this is they're right in the middle of bridging over their token, and it's then going to be able to be listed on a whole bunch of other exchanges. It makes perfect sense that Coinbase and maybe Binance and KuCoin will pick up the OMI token so that they can participate in the volume. Just know that the collectibles have pumped 100x, but even from the bottom, it's only gone up like 5x on the token price. So I think that's where there's some real value. And so I've, have my bags completely packed with OMI. All right, on to some of these gems. I had to bring that in. This Wednesday, again, we'll do another live stream. What's that at? That's like 8:30 Pacific time, right, D?
Yeah, something like that.
Doctor of Stuff joins us. He is like some of the best alpha you can ever get in the crypto space. You'll get from him. So join us for that. He's about 5 times deeper into the VV space than I am. And so like he knows everything that's going on. So you'll get some of the best alpha in the whole space from him there. So join us. I'm obviously very interested from the investment standpoint. I dig in a little bit. He digs in as deep as it goes. So he's where I get a bunch of my alpha from. So why not get some of it from the fire hose directly? All right, this is one that has been interesting. I remember when this launched, and the story made sense to me, and they had some big backers. And if I remember right, the backers were like Coinbase and Alameda Research, essentially Sam Bankman-Fried. The other thing I noticed was that their lockups on pre-sale investors were like 2 years or something outrageously long. So I was like, wow, that makes perfect sense. And already they had a lot of total value locked on Solend. And so I bought some at 7. It went to 14. It came down to 10. I bought a bunch more. I started talking about it here. It went crazy. It has since gotten savage with the rest of the Solana ecosystem. So I have been dollar cost averaging some more into this. Now, why am I such a big believer in this? Well, my guess is one of the things I do in investing is I follow some of the whales, like Coinbase and Coinbase Ventures, their investment arm, as well as Alameda Research, and which is Sam Bankman-Fried's investment arm into stuff, because they have the connections to help those projects do way better than average. And so that's worked out very well for me. When I bought Gods Unchained, they were backed by Coinbase Ventures. They took a while to do well, but essentially that investment has done exceptional. One of the other ones was, what is it called? Axie Infinity. And what's their names? Biggest investors in NFTs in the gaming space that there are. They came in and backed him. I can't remember. It's not Alameda Research. It's...
Sorry, I'm no help to you right here.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
No worries. So I follow them, and I'm totally spacing their name, but you'll know who they are. They're one of the biggest investors in video games, and when they buy, everyone pays attention. Well, they invest in Axie Infinity. And so that's one of the things that I've done is follow that. So I wish I could tell you I know about the team and everything. I don't. Do I think this will do well? I do think it will do well. That's why I continue dollar cost average into it while it's at these lows. Now, I feel a little bit dumb. I wish I had bought even cheaper, but this constantly happens in this space. And I've had tremendous returns over time, even when I don't usually end up buying at the bottom, because one of the principles that I use to invest is I invest where the whales are investing, and then I have the patience to wait it out. Now, probably this price is sinking as I was thinking about what could be pushing the price down. There might even be some ecosystem tokens, because we know the pre-sale tokens are locked up, so they can't be dumping on anyone. There was some from their IDO that might have dumped, and you can earn their tokens by providing liquidity on their platform, but possibly some ecosystem tokens that they have that they're getting released and they're selling to fund development. That might be what's pushed it down to these crazy lows, because they can't go cheaper if nobody's willing to sell. And I think the IDO was at $5, so it wouldn't make sense that their IDO people are selling at $2, but somebody is. And so that just creates a good opportunity to buy low, in my opinion. Some of the other ones I'm really so this is Solend's total market cap that I want to look at. It's at 18 million, but realize only 8.8% of their total supply is in circulation. We know the pre-sale portion of this isn't released for a long time, as well as a whole lot of other things. So we will see more of their supply come into circulation. But I'm really liking where this price is at. I would put it in the medium risk category for what I consider risk. So like I'm extremely risky though. So somebody who invests in like the S&P 500 and for them that feels risky, this would still be way risky for them. For me, it's a medium risk. I call Cardano and Solana a lower risk investment. I call this a medium. And these are the extremely risky investments that I have a bunch of money in. And this is Solbank. I've talked about them a lot. Everyone in my audience knows who this is if you've seen like a number of videos from me. All the way down at these lows, essentially they're making a privacy wallet. If you haven't, I go more into depth from Thursday's show that released yesterday. So if you haven't checked that out with Paul, we're talking about the price action, and I'm filling him in why I'm so bullish on this and the privacy narrative and why I think it'll do well. One that I've been disappointed with, but that doesn't mean it can't do really, really well, is Intersola, and it's all the way back at these lows that I loaded up a bunch at. Way back here. In fact, it's below these lows, so I'm probably upside down on my investment. I did take some profits when it went crazy, but I only sold off 20% of my position to get my initial out and then some profits. So I'm not truly upside down, just upside down on my buy price. Went absolutely crazy, and then it fell all the way down. Now, this is a launch pad on the Solana ecosystem, and there are a couple. They haven't got as many of the top launches as I would like, but they have got some of the top launches, and they're really easy to participate on. You do have to pass KYC, but their system is really solid. And my guess is Solana really does well, then a lot of these new launching projects people will pay attention to, and they'll want to get some of the launchpad tokens on Intersola. And so this has been one that I've talked about to the audience for a while that I think will still do really well, even though its price has been absolutely boring. That's when I like to buy. All right, Solminter, same thing. Almost looks like the same chart, right? Bam, Solana ecosystem is going fantastic, goes crazy. Then it falls off a cliff with the rest of the Solana ecosystem, even more so than Solana. But what happens to these usually when Solana comes back into the spotlight? In fact, if I'm right, on the next leg of the bull market, keep in mind right now, just for some perspective, I like to use the VV collectibles for perspective because there's something that just recently pumped, so you can see what these prices have done. But I think of this like, do you know that I picked up about 30 of the Marvel #1 comics for about $4 a piece? They're currently trading at like $600 to $700. What? $4 a piece? Why were they ever there? Just realize sometimes things hit really cheap. And I was like, wow, these are really cheap. It makes perfect sense to me that they'll do really well when the VV collectibles hit. Sure enough, the VV collectibles hit really strong, and they go all the way up to $600 to $700. Now, did I know for sure that would happen? No, it was just I guess an educated guess, just like this is an educated guess that when the Solana ecosystem goes well, these will do even better. And some of the reasons I like that bet, I bet heavily on that. I bet even heavier. I think I picked up 60 Spider-Man #1 common comic books, and those have done almost as well, not quite as well. And the reason I like them is the price was so darn cheap. And so what I like about a lot of these is the price is so darn cheap that even if throwing in a small amount, it can turn into a lot. Or if for some reason the project totally fails, well, then you're not even losing a lot. So those are some of the bets that I like to take. Okay. Real quick, some news. I'm going to blast through this news so we can get to your thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. Coinbase close to listing Solana ecosystems. Token say I covered that a little bit. Interestingly enough, Solana beats all other blockchains despite degraded performance, says FTX Sam Bankman-Fried. He's a huge believer in this, and it does make a difference. He has a lot of clout, let's just say, within the crypto community and a lot of money with his FTX exchange, and so where he goes, a lot of people follows. And this is one of the reasons I'm really bullish on Solana, is because how strong he's pushing it and backing it. And he continues to back a lot of the projects on it. And at the end of the day, I mean, yes, it had some unexpected problems. Everyone has. Polkadot has. Cardano has. That's just part of the growing process. I still think they're going to be one of the biggest players. All right. Interestingly enough, this says, is OpenSea planning to support Solana NFTs? And this is what this article is about. That would be interesting, right? If we could trade Solana NFTs right on OpenSea. And, imagine you could trade then Star Atlas or any of the NFTs out there, some of the in-game items on OpenSea because they integrate with Solana. It's not confirming that they will.
Yeah, this was an interesting story, Jay. This tech blogger basically was reverse engineering OpenSea's website, and she found a bunch of references to Solana, and then she actually tried to hook up her Radium wallet, her Phantom wallet, excuse me. And it started to try to connect to it. So she was connecting these dots and saying, okay, like this seems like they're ready to pull the trigger on Solana at some point in the near future.
Awesome. Okay, I want Animoca Brands. Doctor of Stuff has it. So did Chris Ashby. That was the big investor I was thinking of. Why I couldn't? I don't know. They're one of the largest names in the crypto space. Just when you get the camera pointed at you, sometimes your brain just disappears on you. Good afternoon, everyone, says Dave B. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Doctor of Stuff says he has smashed it.
Yeah, Chris Ashby, I don't know if he was making fun of me or not, but he said, so D, should we be gently caressing or smashing the like button today? I think that's a joke from
the other day.
On the live stream, the VV live stream that we did. Yeah, I don't really care what you do with the like button. You can smash it. Somebody said, Ricky Schmidt said, softly spank it to Chris Ashby. But yeah, whatever you do to the like button, just give it a little love, and we would really appreciate it.
I'm very curious to hear what your top picks are, but if you do mention something, give us the backing behind it of why you like it and what are the top on-sale deals that you're looking at. Some of the projects that I made good money on, some of those came from the audience, especially in March when things were popping off, and some of the things that were brought to my attention, like Orion Protocol. What was another big one that I did? It's along the lines of Orion. I can't even think of it. It starts with an I. It came from the audience, and when I dug into them, nope, that's not it. It starts with an IN, I think. I can't.
We've got like 5 minutes, Jay, if we're going to get into that NFL waiting room.
Thoughts on Qubit? Lots of potential. Tell us what potential you think Qubit has. And while I'm looking it up, Project Quantum, interesting name. I hate it when they do that. Okay, so huge total supply. We don't know what the circulating supply is. Let's look at their price. Okay, big retracement. Was all the way up here. It's retraced a bunch. Still looks like it's still retracing and going to retrace for a little bit. I'd like to catch it more on the upside. Looks like their website suggests that they're out of the UK. Project Quantum, AAA level gaming, interesting. Powered by crypto, built in Unreal.
Wow, that looks cool.
Okay.
I'm actually going to turn it off in case sometimes YouTube gets mad at us and thinks that we're stealing other people's content.
Yeah. Okay. This looks fun. I was not aware of this one, but NFT Marketplace now live. Project Quantum teaser. Okay, so how do we get to their NFT Marketplace? NFTs. All right. It's asking us to connect a wallet. I wonder what chain they're on.
Yeah,
interesting.
We'll have to look into this a little bit.
We'll put a bookmark by this one. Good recommendation. I'm seeing what I like right now. Alchemix with the no repay loans and no liquidation is great. What do you think? Yeah, it's along the lines of what has me passionate about Meld on Cardano's blockchain, right? Alchemix, from what I could see, it seems like it's on Ethereum. I just shudder at gas costs, but maybe I'm wrong on that. So it looks interesting. I also think DeFi is prepping for a huge run. Notice a lot of people's minds are on finance again, right? So they were just all over gaming and NFTs and the metaverse. But a lot of people's minds starting to turn to finance and crypto. And DeFi hasn't had a huge run in a while. And if it does, our friends at WanChain are probably going to run too. But the whole DeFi ecosystem is going to run and do really, really well.
Max Velocity, who brought Qubit to us, he says it's on the Binance Smart Chain. So
oh yeah,
UK, so
I like it.
Thank you for that.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't want to try to connect up my wallet right now. I will definitely take a better look at that. Glad they're on the Binance Smart Chain. ETH makes me shudder right now at the gas costs. All right. NFL, yeah. Dave B is like, I'll be joining the NFL waiting room. Absolutely. I have pre-funded my account. I lost a ton of money because my credit card, it was actually a debit card, rejected the transaction. When I went to buy 10 rare, I was able to get, you're able to get up to 10 at a time. And so I waited in line all day. My purchase failed to buy those 10. Ended up getting none that day. It failed because my credit card or debit card rejected the transaction. So now on days like this, I pre-fund the account. I send it over. I set up my bank information with it, pre-send it over. You probably don't have time to do that, and you have to go through KYC to do that. But it helps speed it up and make it as smooth as possible. Hex and OMI have very similar circulating max total supply. The price could reasonably hit 25 cents in the next bull run. Yeah, I think OMI hits actually 30 cents if it doesn't hit meme coin status. And if it does hit meme coin status, kind of like where people don't know anything about it, but they're like, oh, how many OMI do you have? I have 1 million. Oh my gosh, I bought 500,000. And like, especially if it gets listed on Robinhood and some of the other gates for people that really don't know anything about crypto and they're just buying it based on what their friend said. Yeah, Bitcoin could do amazing. So, for those of you in the audience, thank you for joining us. If you're ready to level up your crypto game and you haven't subscribed, well, what are you doing? Join us. Join the Navy SEALs of the crypto market and level up your crypto game. This channel isn't for everyone. Our goal isn't to be the biggest YouTube channel, but is to help create the most informed audience, which will, we believe, lead to the wealthiest audience in crypto in the next 5 years. Also, do yourself a favor. Make a commitment not to be here just for the next couple months, but for the next 5 years, and build a 5-year plan, because really that's the time frame it takes to do exceptional here. Now, part of the journey that we've started on this channel when we started a year ago is being realized that some of our audiences crushed it with the VV collectibles, with some of those being up 100x. But the larger part of it has yet to happen, as many of the altcoins that I'm so passionate about are really yet to have their day in the sun, and that is still coming. That's going to be really exciting. For our Rainmaker system to work, you do have to understand it, and that comes by joining us on a daily basis. We do live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now we actually do 2 on Wednesdays. One is much later in the evening, and that one is specific to Akomi and VV and NFTs. Now join us on a daily basis, because we also release recorded videos interspersed in there, so that this system really starts to become part of you, because the system does work if you give it enough time and you have patience. Thank you much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, right before you could, was told to buy when it was born.